Doom guy is back for another action-packed adventure. Doom Eternal takes place after the events of Doom 2016, though I'm not exactly sure how long. The premise is the same as any Doom game. Demons have found their way to human society and are causing havoc. Instead of it being on Mars, the demons have invaded Earth, and they've almost completely annihilated humanity. It's up to the Doom guy to solve this crisis, and what a job he does. The game's design took a strange but amazing turn in regards to its combat mechanics and art design, which made the game feel more enjoyable. The level design was well made and the secrets are fun to collect. The story engaging, and the online battles had unique offers for players after finishing their game. Join me as I break down each of these topics in a video to express the fun I had and the reasons you should add this to your collection of games. Trying to go back and play the 2016 Doom felt awkward after playing Doom Eternal. The changes they made to the combat system just felt right, and fit much better with the flow of the game. The dash mechanic and the farmable enemies made the fights more diverse and, well, see for yourself. The way they changed gaining supplies is kind of rude in certain ways. Each enemy in other Doom games required at least some effort to kill the most basic demons, but in this game there are some demons that are classified as fodder. It's interesting to know that some demons are classified as food for my guns. Their only living purpose is to be killed by me for ammo, health, and armor. The fights were designed around having several difficult bosses to fight and almost expecting you to need more supplies during certain fights. I felt kind of bad sometimes whenever I'd kill one of the lesser demons. They're just chilling there, but I'm low on armor, so A new weapon added to the Slayer's arsenal is the Flame Belch, which ignites enemies, causing them to constantly drop armor for a short period of time, accelerating the process if they die or are hit by bullets. A common thing I do is finish a battle leaving the weak enemies behind, and just keep Flame Belching and Chainsaw on cooldown to regen full health and shields for the next fight. Those poor helpless idiots could only stammer around to get me. Similar to the last game, any glory kills, as seen in the intro and other places, causes enemies to drop health to replenish the Slayer. This allows fights to be much more populated with diverse enemies, and puts more emphasis on the player doing more to keep up their supplies as needed. The change feels more interactive, allowing me to adapt to what specific loot I need for a given situation. There's two types of grenades in this game, which I spam like crazy in certain situations. With the right runes, you could launch out 3 in a short burst. The Frost Grenade locks enemies in place and allows you to focus fire on a group of enemies, or put distance between yourself and them. By far, the greatest mechanic added to Doom Eternal is the dash mechanic. On a very short cooldown, the player can dash in a direction to evade enemy attacks, navigate the map, or just get around more quickly. Mobility is my favorite thing in a game, and if there's something to increase my mobility, I'm all in. The aspect of requiring more skill from the player to evade damage is more engaging, and allows the designers to create more unique enemies and fights to suit this. Along with the standard shooter-esque combat, the player is given ways to enhance their abilities through a variety of means: runes, predator tokens, sentinel crystals, and weapon mods along with upgrades. Runes are mods for the Slayer that enhance certain elements in the gameplay. Maybe I want to finish a glory kill faster for time battles. Maybe I want the range on a glory kill extended so I can be farther away before activating. Or maybe I'm going to grab the movement speed increase after a glory kill, realize my brain can't compute that fast, and then swap to saving throw to tank a lethal hit. It's kind of difficult to choose which ones you want because you're only allowed to have 3, but that actually puts more pressure on the player, and also makes me want to try each of them out on my own time. Similar to the runes, predator tokens augment the gameplay in niche ways. The best thing about the suit upgrades is that by the end of the game, I had them all. While most aren't entirely game-changing, some of my absolute favorites, and 2 that I would recommend buying first, are Faster Dasher and Hit and Run. Faster Dasher increases the recharge rate on your dashes, and Hit and Run refreshes your dashes on any glory kills. Mobility's king, right? Essentially, the fundamentals are just that, fundamental, and they're the most useful to me. After that, I upgraded my Ice Bomb, then Frag Grenade, and then just did things randomly for everything else. Sentinel Crystals are another addition that doesn't change too much about the gameplay, but serve as a way to increase max health, armor, or ammo while granting minor benefits. Again, by the end of the game, I had all of the upgrades, so I was ballin'. But someone could make the point that the increased survivability and those extra benefits makes them more worth it. Lastly, we have weapon mods and upgrades. These enhance the ability of the Slayer's weapons to better fit a certain fight. Along with certain weapons being more useful for certain enemies, the weapon mods allow for different playstyles. A shotgun can either have a full auto mode or a grenade launcher mode. The heavy cannon can have a mini missile launcher or a precision bolt. While a few are generally held as more useful, these are ultimately up to the player, and a certain amount of freedom is allowed in your playstyle. You can upgrade how the mods work with upgrade tokens, earned through the game, though I hardly use them past my first mod because I only like certain mods. By the end of the game, I had over 50 tokens unused because I just didn't want to use any of the other upgrades. With the added mobility to the game, the designers were able to take more liberties when creating fun maps. This means that some design choices were put in place knowing you would have a dash, knowing you could swing on bars, and knowing they could incorporate this into level progression. Outside of engaging arenas, puzzles needed to be solved to progress in the story, and I felt they used as much as they could out of this element, offering the player several ways to achieve their murderous goals. The levels are bright for such a dark game, which is actually a contrast from Doom 2016. 2016 Doom was dark and sometimes hard to see certain things, and while I like the contrast, I like Doom Eternal more. The brightness brought to the game makes the diverse array of colors more appealing to me, and separates the tones more nicely in my opinion. The green lights around the map give hints from where to go, and I found myself noticing them far more easily than in the 2016 Doom, somehow. Each level is packed with several hotspots of demons that you clear out to progress, and each one has their own style and class to it. Because of the changes to how supplies are gained, waves of enemies come in and offer more challenges, such as fighting 2 Doom Hunters. My first fight with a Doom Hunter was terrifying as a boss, and I was dashing around the map to chainsaw another fodder demon for supplies. Not to mention I started the fight with 7 health. They have a shield that is damaged by plasma weapons and a missile launcher that needs to be evaded, a ton of health, and 2 phases to their fight. Later, however, I'd fight 2 of them together with 2 carcass enemies, 2 whiplashes, and a dread knight. I used that footage near the beginning of this video, albeit split up. My least favorite enemy was the Marauder, because it took so long to figure out the best way to kill them. These f***ers hide behind a shield and block every attack. If you're too close, they shoot you with the shotgun. If you're too far, they throw their axe. They dash around, making it a bit difficult to track them. And they sometimes summon a flaming dog that rushes you. You have to take that out first. The way to beat them is to stand a certain distance away from them, prompting an attack, signaled by their eyes turning green, and then shooting to falter them. Rinse and repeat until the process is done, using either a super shotgun or rocket launcher. The annoying thing about them is fighting them with several other higher level demons around. This guy demands attention like an overly attached girlfriend, and you will be punished if you do not give him respect. It all came to a boil when I was tasked with a secret encounter to kill one in 30 seconds. I failed several times with no shotgun ammo left. So I progressed through the mission, get more ammo, backtrack all the way to the encounter, and try again. It took several attempts to get it down right, but such a satisfying payoff. What's a great way to encourage your players to explore the map? Give awesome bonuses for doing so. Want to collect toys? Yeah, I do. Have you seen my LEGO collection? The albums, the upgrades, everything makes it worth exploring. Even when I had all the upgrades at my disposal, I still enjoyed seeking out the treasures. The puzzles, to find them, were generally great, and while some were easy to get and almost flat out given to you, it just made me appreciate the ones I worked harder to find, and I totally didn't ever have to look one up in the middle of the game. While completely optional, many of them teased you in the game, beckoning your name as you pass by, taunting you, daring you to forget about it. For the most part, I love when games do this. One level had the secrets all bunched up near the beginning of the map, and had you returning to this hub on multiple occasions, leaving me to check if anything new opened up when I came. Every secret can be completed before you finish the mission, and the fast travel option, unlocked right before the end of a mission, allows you to travel back to complete any forgotten secrets. I did once become frustrated over an extra life upgrade when there was a clear example of an invisible wall. Why, id? Why would you do this to me? Nothing too special, but I'm still glad they expanded on this from the previous game. The story of Doom Eternal takes place after Doom 2016, but gives background information from what happens before Doom 2016. The story isn't anything special in regards to how it presents itself, and seems cliche in some instances. Go here, kill X person, and then go kill Y person, but then the main baddie blocks you from locating Z person, so go find another person to help you find and kill Z person, and then continue on. What's impressive about its story isn't its originality. It's how the writers weave the story with the gameplay and create a more interesting environment to explore through codex entries depicting lore from the story. The codex entries give insight into how the Doom Guy became a fabled figure in his world, taking you to places in the Doomslayer's past. They use the visuals from these lore-heavy locations as a preface to set up a story and then expand on it through the record logs. As you go about your quest, you find more bits of information to fill in the pieces you need to make the story whole. It's something I often do with my students. Show them a product to be analyzed, give them things to look out for, visual cues, vocabulary and the such, and then get to the story. That preface makes the act of reading a story much more engaging and involved, just as it does for my students. You have to create buy-in, and the writers of Doom Eternal did this well. Forgetting one log isn't the end of the world, but those that are interested will seek out the information at any cost, and I've always been one to do that. Oh god, where to start with online? What a great start I had to the game! The online battle mode takes a 1v2 approach. One Slayer versus 2 demons. The demons can summon other demons, and have weapons in their arsenal to kill the Slayer. Sounds like a free win for the demons, right? Well, that's what I thought. My first time playing, I was the Slayer, and I was against 2 opponents that were way higher level than me. I didn't know the ropes, so they slaughtered me every round. From then on, I tried to only play the demons because they seemed to clearly have the advantage. Things went well for some time, and I was having success with the Pain Elemental, until I found players who knew about the meta of the game. The meta includes using the remote detonation rocket launcher to kill demons and the ballista for long range damage. That's it. And guess what? It works. This is extraordinarily unbalanced for what it is. My first game trying this led me to doing far better than my first time. My other strategy was just to bum rush them with the plasma cannon with the burst upgrade. Most demons don't like being face to face with you, and will try to run away instead of dealing damage, leading to free hits all the time. I only played online for about 2 hours before realizing it wasn't really my cup of tea, but I saw people on there that were over level 140. That's a lot of time to sink into the game considering I was only level 14 after beating the story. The most fascinating part of this, at least to me, was playing as the demons, and I enjoyed it the most, even if they can be a little weak. Each of the playable demons has their abilities from the game, and after the end of each round, you get to upgrade your class. I think if the Slayer's damage was tuned down and the reliance of early kills was eliminated, placing more emphasis on damaging the demons and healing off fodder enemies, the online would be more enjoyable. My favorite rounds were those that went on forever, because it felt like an epic battle between 2 baddies and the fabled Slayer. Instead, all I got was someone using the super shotgun to meat hook to my face and blast it off every time. If anyone would care to join me, I'd love to give this another go, but as of now, the meta just seems to use the fewest weapons in the Doomslayer's arsenal, and doesn't capture the atmosphere that I expected from it. I guess I was expecting something more like Left 4 Dead 2's player versus player. Doom Eternal, despite the online issues, is a great game. I love killing demons almost as much as my character does, and I enjoy combat that is deeper than just a point and shoot. Forethought, enemy weaknesses, positioning, all of these are required elements to do well in the game, especially at higher difficulties. And while I'm not a master, it's fun to master. Replayability comes through master levels, which are added to on a regular basis. These levels truly test your skill. Cheat codes collected through the secrets in the game make replayability fun, if you want to try something insanely silly, and collect anything that you may have forgotten. Give it a go if you want a rich story, adrenaline-pumped action, and enough violence for a lifetime. Thank you so much for watching my video. Feel free to comment your thoughts, like the video, and subscribe if you want more content like this in the future.